Hey, I'm Hilah. Today I'm going to show you how to make some bread, homemade. And you do not need a bread machine, and you do not need to spend 15 minutes kneading and getting your arms all muscly and stuff. Screw that. This kind of bread, you just throw it in the bowl and you set it aside and you don't have to mess with it, and then you have some wonderful crusty homemade bread and you can totally impress your in-laws. Do it. Okay, so we only need 4 things for this. We need flour and yeast and salt and water. I'm going to start with 3 cups of flour in my bowl. Oh my god, I barely have enough. Talk about perfect planning. It's my middle name. Okay, so we got that in there. Got the flour in. I'm going to put in just 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. If you buy these little packets, they usually contain like 2.5 teaspoons or so. So you have to just sort of cut it open and measure it. And check the date on your yeast. You want to make sure it's not expired. Okay. And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I got this recipe just straight off of the New York Times website. I'll post the link on there, and it talks a little bit more about like the science behind this and why it works. But I can tell you what I remember. So I'm gonna just mix this up together. Combined. All right, now I'm gonna put in 1 5/8 cup of water and mix that around. And from what I remember, this article that I read maybe like a year ago, is that you put in a whole lot of water and then you let it just sit by itself alone for 12 to 18 hours. And excess water helps the gluten develop without having to knead it. And then the extra long rising time with just a little bit of yeast, the yeast actually totally works because you're just giving it a lot of time to multiply and create gases and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm not a food scientist, but it totally works. That's the important part. Okay, so it's all combined. Now I'm gonna cover it and set it aside for 12 to 18 hours and just let it do its thing. Okay, so through the power of movie magic, I have here a bowl that I made yesterday that's been sitting for like probably 14 hours now. I did put plastic wrap over this one underneath the moist, damp towel just because I made a double batch yesterday and it was rising up really high and I didn't want it to get all stuck to my towel. So you can use plastic wrap, but I would recommend that you put a damp towel down or a damp towel over it just to keep it from drying out. So I'm going to put just a little bit of flour on my counter. Flour emergency, almost out. And this is kind of a one-shot deal, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to punch it real hard. It's going to be cool. So that kind of knocks all the bubbles out. Scrape it out of my bowl. It's very sticky. And throw it on the counter. It's like that slime stuff that Nickelodeon used to have. All right, I'm just going to knead it twice, which just means sort of fold it over once, flip it around, fold it over again. That's all you got to do. Done. That's all the kneading that this requires. So it feels like a jiggly butt. I'm going to put a little cornmeal down on a plate. You can use oat bran, whatevs. Put it on my plate. Cover it again. And set it aside for another 2 hours to rise again. Done. See you in 2 hours. Okay, more movie magic. Fast forward 2 hours. Here we have the second rising of the dough. And I have my oven preheated at 450 and I put my pan in there already. So it's really hot. I'm gonna get out of the oven and put my, put my bread dough in my hot pot. And you'll need a pot with a lid on it. Just pull, that has a lid that fits it. This blue cornmeal is making my bread look all weird. And just sort of, ooh, it sizzles. Get Get my lid. Put it back in the oven for 30 minutes. Yikes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I'm gonna get in here, take the lid off, put it in for another 15 minutes, and then we'll have bread. Okay, it's been 15 more minutes. I'm gonna take it out of the oven and show you the golden deliciousness. And when it's done, it should have pulled away from the edges, so you can just ploop, plop it out like that. And it's always best to wait a while your bread cools before you cut it. But I'm running late for this blogger's picnic, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it now. Okay, so there we go. Delicious, hot bread. It's beautifully risen. It looks so good. All right, I'm gonna finish cutting that up, take it to my blogger picnic. But sign up for our secret newsletter. Get some secrets about me and stuff. And go subscribe to YouTube. Leave me some comments on my website. Give me suggestions. I love suggestions. See you later. Have a great day.